Everyone in the apartment complex hated this dog. Parents pulled their kids closer when they saw him. Tenants crossed the hallway to avoid him. Someone had even taped a warning sign on the notice board. Aggressive dog. Stay away. But at 2:46 a.m., when the fire alarm started screaming, this was the only one who didn't run. And that decision saved a life. The dog's name was Rex. At least, that's what the old man on the third floor called him. Rex was a large pit bull mix, heavy-chested and scarred, with one ear permanently torn and a slow, deliberate way of moving. His face looked older than it probably was, shaped by years no one knew much about. The kind of dog people decide they're afraid of before he ever gives them a reason. His owner, Mr. Halverson, had moved into apartment 3C 2 years earlier. He was in his late 70s. Thin, quiet, walked with a cane and never seemed to be in a hurry. He didn't chat in the elevator, didn't attend building meetings, didn't have visitors, no family, no friends, just Rex. Every morning, the same routine. Mr. Halverson would shuffle down the hallway, gripping his cane with one hand and the leash with the other. Rex would walk slowly beside him, stopping whenever the old man needed to catch his breath. In the evenings, Rex would sit outside apartment 3C, unmoving, until the door opened again. People noticed. But they didn't see loyalty. They saw a big dog blocking the hallway. They saw scars and muscle. They saw a breed they'd been warned about their entire lives. Whispers started. He growls. He stares too much. That dog makes me nervous. Complaints followed. Animal control was called twice. Both times officers approached cautiously, hands resting near their belts. And both times, Rex did nothing. He didn't bark, didn't lunge, didn't resist. He just sat, watching. The fire started in apartment 3B, an old space heater, frayed wiring, a quiet spark in the middle of the night. By the time smoke detectors went off, flames were already licking the curtains. Alarms shrieked through the building. Red lights flashed. Doors burst open. People ran, some barefoot, some screaming, some carrying children wrapped in blankets, half asleep and confused. Smoke poured into the hallway, thick and bitter. But apartment 3C stayed dark. Inside, Mr. Halverson never heard the alarm. Hours earlier, he had collapsed into his recliner after taking his medication. His heart condition had been worsening, and exhaustion pulled him under before danger ever had a chance to warn him. The smoke crept under the door, and Rex noticed, because Rex wasn't sleeping. He was sitting by the door, like he always did. He smelled it first. Then he heard the alarms. Then the shouting. Rex stood up, and he didn't move away from the door. What Rex did next made people stop running. Because it wasn't fear, it was intent. Rex began barking, not wild, not frantic, deep, steady, repeated. His voice echoed down the hallway, cutting through the chaos. People shouted at him as they rushed past. "Someone control that dog. Watch out, he's dangerous. Don't let it loose." One man tried to shove him aside, coughing as smoke burned his throat. Rex didn't snap. He didn't bare his teeth. He planted himself directly in front of apartment 3C. And refused to move. Smoke thickened. Heat rose. Time disappeared. Firefighters stormed onto the floor moments later, axes in hand, oxygen masks already fogging. They saw Rex immediately, big, muscular, blocking the doorway. One firefighter raised his voice. "Get that dog out of the way!" Rex stayed. Another step forward. Rex leaned back harder against the door. Someone muttered, "We don't have time for this." And that's when Rex did something no one expected. Rex lowered his head, not in aggression, in desperation. Then he let out a sound no one had heard before. A whine, low, broken, almost pleading. One firefighter froze. He followed the dog's body with his eyes, then the door behind him. He raised the thermal camera, and his expression changed. "There's a person in there," he said. They didn't hesitate. The door was kicked in. Inside, the apartment was nearly unrecognizable. Smoke clung to the ceiling. Furniture was scorched. Air was barely breathable. They found Mr. Halverson slumped in his recliner, barely conscious, oxygen levels dangerously low. As firefighters lifted him, Rex tried to follow. His paws slipped. His breathing was labored. Burns marked his pads. Without thinking, one firefighter scooped Rex up and carried him out. The same dog everyone had feared. The same dog everyone avoided. Both survived. Mr. Halverson woke up 2 days later in the hospital, confused and weak. The first thing he whispered was one word. "Rex?" The nurse smiled softly. "He's here." Rex lay curled up on the hospital floor beside the bed. Bandaged paws, one swollen eye, tail thumping weakly when he heard the familiar voice. He hadn't left. The story spread through the building quickly. The complaints stopped. The warning sign disappeared. Someone replaced it with a new one, taped to the same board. "Hero dog lives in 3C. Neighbors who once crossed the hallway now stopped to kneel beside Rex. Children brought treats. Someone bought him a new bed. People finally saw what had been there all along. Rex still sits outside apartment 3C every night. Same spot, same patience. But now, when people pass him, they don't see a dangerous dog. They see the one who stayed when everyone else ran. Because sometimes, the thing you're afraid of is the reason you're still alive."